Minister Waller, how did our Black History start?
I want to know that too.
Welcome to our Black History Saga. We will be telling a story of adventure, hope, and perseverance. Our culture is rich in color and spirit. You will witness our progress that years of sacrifice has brought to us as Black people. Get ready to experience this journey with us. The beginning of our history starts in Africa, a continent that is rich in land and beauty. We started as kings and queens. We came from tribes that thrive in culture and celebration. The celebration of life and wealth ends. Invaders came and stole the peace, broke up families, and murdered the ones who resisted. They piled the Africans into ships and took them to a land, an ocean, away from their home, called America. In America, the African was bought and sold like cattle. They lost their independence, their culture was beat out of them, and they were formed into slaves. However, the African would develop a new hope of freedom with the acts of such martyrs as Nat Turner, who led a slave revolt, and Harriet Tubman, who established the Underground Railroad. That led the people to freedom and a better life.
I am Harriet Tubman, and every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember, you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world. I had reasons out in my mind. There was one of the two things I had a right to, liberty or death. If I could not have one, I would have the other, or no man should take me alive. I would tell those who chose to travel with me, if you hear the dogs, keep going. If you see the torches in the woods, keep going. If you hear the shouting after you, keep going. Don't ever stop. Keep going. However, I knew this one thing to be true. To want me twas the Lord, I always told him. I trust you. I don't know where to go or what to do, but I expect you to lead me. And he always did. I guess that's why my people call me Moses, because I led my people to the promised land called freedom.
During a 10-year span, Harriet Tubman made 19 trips into the South and escorted over 300 slaves to freedom. And, as she proudly pointed out to Frederick Douglass, in all of her journeys, she never lost a single passenger. Her heroic act led to the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation that made all slaves free. With their newfound freedom came adversity still. There were Jim Crow laws passed that kept them in bondage. Long after the chains were off. Then, education laws emerged, separate but equal. Whom was America trying to fool? Thanks to heroes like Thurgood Marshall, who challenged the thought and made great strides in overcoming the law and the court system.
I am Thurgood Marshall. The measure of a country's greatness is its ability to retain compassion in times of crisis. Where you see wrong or inequality or injustice, speak out, because this is your country. Make it, protect it, pass it on. None of us got where we are solely by pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps. We had somebody, a parent, a teacher, or an Ivy League crony pick us up by our boots. What is the quality of your intent? Certain people have a way of saying things that shake us at the core. Even when the words do not seem harsh or offensive, the impact is shattering. What we could be experiencing is the intent behind our words. When we intend to do well, we do. When we intend to do harm, it happens. What each of us must come to realize is that our intent always comes through. I wish I could say that racism and prejudice were just distant memories. We must dissent from the indifference. We must dissent from the apathy. We must dissent from the fear. We must dissent from the hatred and the mistrust. We must dissent because America can do better, and America has no choice but to do better.
Because of his tenacity, on August 30th, 1967, Thurgood Marshall became the first African-American U.S. Supreme Court Justice. He was joined in his quest for equality by our greatest freedom fighter and the peaceful protest of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the greatest civil rights general known in history. Dr. King's journey led him to our great state, Alabama. He and other great activists like Fred Shuttlesworth and Rosa Parks led peaceful demonstrations throughout the southern states.
I am Fred Shuttlesworth. You have to be prepared to die before you can begin to live. And the fact that Emmett Till, a young black man, could be found flown down the river in Mississippi, as indeed many have been done over the years. This set in concrete the determination of people to move forward. I tried to get killed in Birmingham and go home to God because I knew that it would be better for you in Birmingham. However, I realized the best thing we can do is be a servant of God. It does good to stand up and serve others.
I am Rosa Parks. People always say that I didn't give up my seat because I was tired. But that's not true. I was not tired physically. No, the only tired I was tired of giving in. I'd see the bus pass every day. But to me, that was a way of life. We had no choice but to accept what was the custom. The bus was among the first ways I realized there was a black world and a white world. During the Montgomery bus boycott, we came together and remained unified for 381 days. That's never been done again. The Montgomery boycott became the model for human rights throughout the world. We must have courage, determination to go on with the task of becoming free, not only for ourselves, but for the nation and the world. Cooperate with each other. Have faith in God and ourselves. I have learned over the years that when one's mind is made up, this diminishes fear. Knowing what must be done does away with fear. I believe we are here on planet Earth to live, grow up, and do what we can to make this world a better place for all people to enjoy freedom.
I am Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Yes, Rosa Parks. I believe that we can make this world a better place for all people to enjoy freedom too. The time is always right to do what is right. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase. Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. Life's most persistent question and urgent question is, what are you gonna do for us? If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, keep moving forward.
and overcome we did. The shadow of racial inequality led to our next journey into political power that is still raging in America. Heroes like Shirley Chisholm, former President Barack Obama, and our newly elected first female African-American Vice President of the United States of America, Kamala Harris.
You don't make progress by standing on the sidelines whimpering and complaining. You make progress by implementing ideas. If they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. Service is the rent we pay for the privilege of living on this earth. We must reject not only the stereotypes that others hold of us, but also the stereotypes that we hold of ourselves. It is not female egotism to say that the future of mankind may very well be ours to determine. It is a fact. The warmth, gentleness, and compassion that are part of the female stereotypes are positive human values. Values that are becoming more and more important as the values of our world begin to shatter and fall from our grasp. Unless we start to fight and defeat the enemies in our own country, poverty and racism, and making our talk of equality and opportunities ring truth, we are exposing the eye of the world as hypocrites when we talk about making people free. I am and always will be a catalyst for change.
You are right, Congresswoman Chisholm, and I will always be a catalyst for change too. Because of the political strides that you made, I, Barack Obama, was the first African-American president elected of these United States. Change will not come if we wait for some other person or if we wait for some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. The best way not to feel hopeless is to get up and do something. Don't wait for good things to happen to you. If you go out and make some good things happen, you'll fill the world with hope, you'll fill yourself with hope. A change is brought about because ordinary people do extraordinary things. My identity might begin with the fact of my race, but it didn't. Couldn't end there. That's what I would choose to believe.
I, Kamala Harris, am the first African-American woman to hold the office of Vice President. This change happened during the time that our world is experiencing a pandemic with the coronavirus. However, while I may be the first woman in this office, I won't be the last, because every little girl watching me sees that this country is full of possibilities. Imperfect though we may be, I believe we are a great country, and a part of what makes us our democratic institutions that protect our fundamental ideas, freedom of religion and the rule of law, protection from discrimination based on national origin. We need a mandate that proves that the past few years do not represent who we are or who we aspire to be. My mother will look at me and she say, Kamala, you may be the first, you may be, but make sure you are not the last. And that is why breaking those barriers is worth it.
As a nation, we have come a long way in our history for accepting change, and we have more to do. As a people rich in culture, tenacity, and pride, we have more to press through. But I hope you have enjoyed taking this journey with me today. We moved from our beginnings as kings and queens in Africa to our political gains as we elected an African-American president and a female vice president of the United States of America. A change has come to America.
Dream, my children, and dream big.